I was not able to put the phone down.
Social media has turned dating into a battlefield.
I feel like everyone hates everything that I do.
Instagram is just a bunch of monitoring spirits.
The first thing that we do when we wake up is stick our phones in our faces.
10 minutes into your day and you're convinced the world is ending.
Y'all want to know, honestly, one of the reasons why we are all so tired is because the first thing that we do when we wake up is stick our phones in our faces, and they stay there until we go to bed. The same phones, mind you, that give us access to the entire world's problems. So everything that is going on all over the world, everything that is going wrong all over the world, we have constant access to. And that's not even to mention going to work, the stress that we deal with when we go to work, the cubicle that we sit in that we're not meant and designed to sit in when we go to work. And then we wonder why we're stressed. And we wonder why we're overwhelmed, and we wonder why we're tired. Y'all, our bodies are not designed to handle this. Our bodies were meant and designed to live in a garden, to be in communication, constant presence with the Lord, with our Creator, living in peace. We are not designed to be this busy. We are not designed to handle all of this information, all of this bad news. We are not designed to constantly compare ourselves to one another through social media, because that's what we do. If we're not reading about the bad news in the world, we're comparing ourselves to everybody else. What other people look like, how much money other people have, what cars other people drive, what things other people have in their homes. And then we look at ourselves and we look at the things that we have in our homes. We look at our clothes and we constantly compare. So when we're not dealing and being flooded with the bad news all over the world, we're comparing ourselves to other people. Y'all, our phones are a tool of the enemy, and we need to be recognizing them as such. They are addicting for a reason. So I have another challenge for everybody, because this is a habitual thing that we need to break. We need to break the habit. Here's the challenge for 1 week, just 7 days. No social media before scripture. If you have not gotten into the word, if you have not opened God's word and read scripture, you do not get access to your social media. We need to start making God the priority of our day. We need to start waking up and filling our mind with the word and not the world. Because honestly, y'all, imagine what all of our lives would look like if we spent as much time in the word as we do on social media.
Instagram is just a bunch of monitoring spirits, watching each other, peeping every move in somebody's story, but not commenting or liking or showing any support. I'm so over it. I can be on TikTok for years because everyone's authentic. There's so many stories. The comments are hilarious. People follow whoever resonates with them. There's no, oh, I can only follow X amount of people. It's just real. And then if you're in the content creation like myself, Instagram is so stupid.
I'm just gonna say it. Instagram is depressing as hell. I dislike that app with a passion. It has just like molded people into these weird robots, and like nothing feels authentic anymore. So I got rid of it for a few months this year, and I can honestly say I can go my whole life without that app. And if you're wondering why I got it back, I'm wondering the same thing. No, but like in all seriousness, I have like, you know, when you create content, you have an opportunity to like use it on different platforms to create, you know, generate an income. But I still like question it. Like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? Should I just stick to this app? Because this app doesn't drain my soul the way that app does.
If you ever hear me say that I'm taking a break from social media, I am never talking about TikTok, but I am always talking about Instagram.
Social media has ruined relationships, not because of porn, not because of micro-cheating, but because of over-analyzation. We have picked apart every single aspect there is to being in a relationship and expected not to have some sort of negative outcome as a result of that. It is a very well-known fact that human consciousness is both a gift and a curse, depending on how one chooses to use it. And people choose to believe some random person on the screen who they've known for 15 seconds rather than their partner who they've known for an extended period of time. How crazy is that?
So I'm not really good at making friends, and I think I've realized that one of the main issues with it is that social media has ruined my life, and I now think that things are normal that most people don't find normal. For example, I was at my son's baseball practice a few nights ago, and two of the moms who were sitting on either side of me were talking about the books they like to read. And one of them looked at the other one and said, yeah, I was on this trip recently, and on the plane ride home, I read this book, and I'm getting excited, right? Like, I love to talk books. And she said, it was so inspirational. And I thought, oh no, where are we going with this? And she said it was about Mark Cuban and Serena Williams and like how they overcame different adversities and became so successful. And she was like, I just read that book and I was so motivated and so inspired. And the other mom was like, wow, I want to read this book. Please send me the link. Like, that sounds so good. And I was like, can't relate. That sounds boring. And there was this awkward pause, like kind of silence after that, because what else do you say about a book like that? Nothing. And I've realized I don't really like awkward silences and pauses, and I really wanted to join the conversation. So I let the intrusive thoughts in my brain win. And I said, and I quote, I read fairy corn. Just like that. Into the silence, I said, I read fairy corn. And they didn't know what any of those words meant. None of them, except for the I read part. So then I had to elaborate as to what I meant by that. What kind of literature is that? I've never heard of that. So this is how I explained it as best I could. And you know what's worse than telling a group of moms who read inspirational books that you read fairy corn? Is having to explain to them what that is. And so I said, of course, corn, that's pretty easy to explain. But when I gave them the synopsis of the fairy part, I was like, you know, there's this girl who's living in poverty in the human world, and she goes and kills an animal because her family is starving, and then this wolf comes to her house and kidnaps her, and it turns out he's a masked high lord with pointy ears who shapeshifts, and he kidnaps her and keeps her prisoner in this rich palace and gives her pretty dresses and food. But then this other high lord with pointy ears comes, and he's a murderer, but he comes and kidnaps her from him, and he's got bat wings, and they're both like 5,000-year-old men, and she's like 20. And their faces throughout this conversation, I mean, it wasn't conversation, it was my monologue, but their faces were just like, you know, they're like slowly pulling their children away from my children. I don't know. I have two positions for friendship still available.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. We're no longer in the era where you can just say, bro, it's just social media, bro. People don't act like that in real life. Cause why are me and my boy leaving a day party, right? We was in the rooftop. We had to go on the elevator or whatever. Me and him walk in, bro. It's just straight fine women on the elevator. It's literally me and a bunch of fine women. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and we get to talking, right? The girl next to my homeboy, she's talking about, oh, you don't want to talk to me. I'm a misandrist. Bro, I started dying laughing because I'm like, there's no way you said that in a real life. Bro, she's like, my boy's like, what's a misandrist? She's like, yeah, look it up, baby, look it up. Yeah, you don't want to mess with me. Bro, all the other women in the elevator are just silent. I'm dying laughing, bro. That's actually insane. But yeah, bro, like people really act like this in real life.
My attention span is cooked. I feel like I need to watch everything in 2x speed. I knew it was bad when I discovered Netflix has a playback speed option. I couldn't sit through Adolescence on Netflix and had to watch the last 15 minutes of the last episode in 2x speed. Even reading books is harder. I read and zone out, then check my phone. TikTok has become a reflex. I cannot wait to get off this app and reclaim my attention span because it is just so fried. Not only is it fried, my
perception of the time in the day is fried because I look up and it's 3 o'clock. My day is gone. And I've spent like hours on TikTok.
Social media has absolutely destroyed your self-esteem. When you are constantly seeing pictures and videos of other people living their best life and they have a certain appearance, or they're posting all of these cute pictures with their partner, and you're comparing your own life to that, thinking, I don't look like that, or my relationship with my partner doesn't seem like it's like that, or my life doesn't look as luxurious as that. Do I need to get that in order to be happy? Do I need all of those things in order for my life to feel fulfilled? So the answer is no, because social media is an illusion. Everyone's posts, no matter what it is, usually is just a fraction of their life, if that. People post a lot of their highlights. Now there are a lot of people starting to post a little bit more authentic content out there, but still a lot of people post their highlights. So it is unrealistic for you to compare yourself in your day-to-day life to somebody's highlight reel.
You know, I've never really understood the consequences of being on social media until I started going through it. I've been making videos for 15 years. Started making YouTube videos and stuff, and none of them ever did well. And I always wondered, like, why my videos never did well, and it's like, because you couldn't handle it. I was never going to be able to handle this as a kid. Such an interesting thing, because like you get a bunch of people being like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you, like everything that you've been working so hard for is like finally paying off, and like you're working with these big brands and these companies that you dreamed of working with, like that is amazing, you must be so happy. And it's like I just feel like everyone fucking hates them. I feel like everyone hates everything that I do, and like I go look on the comments of Il Maquillage and it's just people like fucking beating me to death. I mean that I'm disgusting, I'm untalented, I'm the worst, these are terrible, like I'm horrible. And then all of a sudden those comments are gone because the moderators got to them, and I'm like, I wonder what other people said. I only saw a few comments before they got taken down, so I know that they're saying even worse things, and it's like, this is my passion. This is what I love to do. I love to make videos. I love to make people laugh. I love to make people smile. Like, my whole purpose for being on social media to inform and entertain. Like, those are my two purposes, is to inform and entertain. And it's just like, I feel like everyone fucking hates me, and I just want to quit sometimes. I can never do it right. Like, you're never gonna, I'm not perfect. Shocking, I know. I just want to talk to someone who's been through this. If I could just talk to Trisha Paytas on the phone for like an hour, like how does she deal with it? Like how do you deal with all of the hate? Like how do you get through this? Because like I don't know. I've talked to everyone off the ledge. Like I talked to my fiance every day about it, and to my best friend whose birthday is today, so I didn't want to inconvenience her. And like I try really hard to make things funny and to make things, you know, could help society in a way with the things that I say, and it's like everyone just hates me. I'll get 10 positive comments, but then there's that one hate comment that's like, I actually hate you and I think you're disgusting. And it's like, I used to tell myself I'd never let them get to me. I'm like, I'll never let the hate comments get to me. I'll never. It's like, no bitch. No bitch. How is Justin Bieber still functioning?
This is a controversial opinion, but I think that social media has literally ruined my generation and the way that people communicate. One thing that truly baffles me is the fact that it is an acceptable form of communication in my generation, and especially the new younger generations, to send a picture back and forth and not communicate. And that's considered like communication. Like that is literally so weird to me. Like nowadays, the fact that people aren't like, oh, can I get your number? I want to talk to you. It's like, can I get your snap? Like that just makes no sense to me. The fact that generally most of the time, like, yes, you can have conversations on Snapchat, but the fact that sometimes you'll just go back and forth for days with someone sending pictures and no words, and that's like normal. It's just so freaking weird. And again, going like with Instagram and likes and comments, it's the fact that like people consider you like liking their picture like a form of communication. I know in relationships it comes up a lot as a problem where, you know, if a guy's liking a girl's picture, it's like, oh, well, he's letting them know like he's interested. Like I just think all of that it just is so weird to me. And this is coming from someone who does have like a small platform in social media, and social media has been such a big part of my life. But I still think that if I could go back and choose to live in a time where social media wasn't a thing and didn't exist, I would 100% choose that over this like weird world that we're all living in.
Social media has ruined dating. And I'm going to tell you why. So back in the day, before Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff, right? You will meet a person. You obviously find them physically attractive, right? You want to get to know them more. You exchange numbers, blah, blah, blah. When you go home, you're only thinking about that one person. I'm only thinking about that one guy I met at the party. You're thinking about that one girl from the cookout, right? Because when you go home, you're not clicking on your phone to compare her to somebody else. You're not going to her page to see what she doing. You didn't have access to all of that stuff. So you were able to genuinely get to know someone without any bias, without comparing, without anything. Like, it was just each other on each other's mind. So now, because of social media, you go out, you meet people. The first thing you do is look them up on the internet. So now you have a idea or perception of who they might be, or just based off of pictures and videos. And it's like, you don't even know this person.
This creator I follow, and her content is actually so triggering, and it sucks because we like follow each other, so I see her content all the time, and I think that's why I'm so triggered by it, because it genuinely affects me and like gets in my head. It's like the guy on my shoulder telling me like skinnier is better, don't eat. Like that's her content in my ear, telling me that I should lose weight to be prettier, and that I should restrict, and I should eat half a salad a day. Like, I really didn't want to post anything about it because clearly she's going through something herself, and that's why she's pushing out this content. But I feel so called to say something because it's genuinely the most toxic thing ever, and I truly cannot think about what it would feel like as a young teenager to see this content. I am being affected by it. I am changing my eating habits. I am concerned with my weight because of what I'm seeing. I cannot imagine someone younger than me seeing this and thinking, I can't wear blue because if I wear blue, I'm going to look like a whale. Because she said blue either makes you look like a whale or it makes you look iconic. And that skinny's better and skinny's more iconic and clothes look better on skinny girls. Like,
we have a theory. If you're a couple and you post like obsessively about each other all the time on your social media, like
repeatedly,
constantly bragging about how amazing your wife or your husband is and how they're the best person on earth and blah, 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 blah.
Just love bombing on social media.
Like, yeah, that's nice, but there's trouble in paradise. That is not normal. That is not normal behavior. There is skeletons in the closet. There's trouble in paradise.
Somebody cheated.
You're in the doghouse.
Or somebody is cheating something.
Maybe somebody's cheating. Like, it just feels like
toxic.
So performative.
Toxic.
And toxic. Like, if you're posting like happy birthday or like it's your anniversary, that's one thing. That's normal stuff. But if you're posting like, my husband, he's my hero, or like my wife, she just is an angel from above, like,
just get her flowers, dude. Like,
just do nice things in private. Like,
yeah.
Why is everything showing out for social media? Like, posting pictures on your story about my husband, he just loves me so much, he brought me home flowers. Like, why don't you just enjoy that? Enjoy it. It's weird, right? Like, don't you feel like the people who post on social media about their significant other, like, constantly are the ones who have the most drama?
It's kind of embarrassing.
They're the ones who fight all the time and they have the worst drama. Like, prove me wrong. Don't you agree? I don't know. Like, tell me your thoughts on this, if you agree with our theory.
I think that social media has literally ruined my generation.
I now think that things are normal that most people don't find normal.
Last night, my boyfriend and I are talking about how we don't want our kids to have social media until they're 18.
10 minutes into your day and you're convinced the world is ending.
Social media is ruining my life. Today I challenged myself to have less than an hour on screen time. I failed within the first half of the day. I didn't realise quite how long I spent on TikTok and Instagram just mindlessly scrolling until I actually looked at my screen time. After what I thought had been 5 to 10 minutes, had actually been 45. I always complain that my days go too fast, or that I need more hours in the day. But what I really need is to break this habit of scrolling and to reclaim the hours of my life that I spend on social media. In that 45 minutes alone, I could have cooked, hoovered, showered, or even read, all of which are tasks I regularly tell myself I don't have time for. And it's not like it's just 45 minutes a day. My screen time over the last week has averaged 8 hours. 8 hours a day. 8 hours of my life sat staring at the screen of my phone, comparing my neglected life to the seemingly perfect life that others share on social media. It makes me physically sick knowing that in the last week alone, I've wasted over 56 hours of my life to a social media addiction. But I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to reclaim my life back. I can't stop scrolling.
The human brain was not designed for social media at all. You're not supposed to wake up in the morning, pick up your phone, and see a video of a guy getting his head chopped off, a post about World War III being around the corner, and then a picture of your ex in their new relationship. 10 minutes into your day and you're convinced the world is ending, your anxiety's through the roof, you feel lonely, and you haven't even gone outside yet. And then you do go outside and the sun is shining, people are smiling and laughing, the birds are chirping, absolutely nothing is wrong. So you started your day by scrolling Instagram for 5 minutes before you got out of bed, and now you feel horrible because the human mind is not meant to comprehend all these things at once, especially when there are things like World War III's happening, this guy just died, this bombing just happened. We're not supposed to get all this information in such a short amount of time. This is why we need to bring back third places in our society. In our parents' age, after work, people would go places and socialize, have a drink, grab dinner with friends, go golfing, go to the pool club, literally do anything with other human beings face to face. Now people come home from work, plant their butt on the couch, get in bed, and scroll TikTok, scroll Instagram for hours on end, and fry their brains, give themselves self-induced anxiety and depression, and it's no wonder why everyone's miserable nowadays.
So here's a hypocritical statement. Last time my boyfriend and I were talking about how we don't want our kids to have social media until they're 18, and we were like trying to pinpoint why. And I was like, it's just toxic. It's hard for girls because he's a daughter. And then this filter came out, and this is the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm sitting here looking like a trash can in real life. Put this thing on, and I look freaking beautiful. There's nothing I can do about it though, because if I take it off, this person merges. And she's fine, but she's not that person. She loves herself, but she does not have perfectly sculpted cheekbones and eyes that sparkle like the freaking bright side of the moon. Any hoodles, this is why social media will not be existing in my children.
You want to know why our grandparents stayed together? Because they weren't looking at ass cheeks all day on Instagram and refreshing it and going, oh, well, that girl looks younger, that girl looks better, that girl's face tuned, and I think that is what these young women that they're following are telling them. You've got 13-year-olds getting lip injections, right? Because they want to look like Kylie Jenner. Again, not a shot to Kylie Jenner, but what society have we created that ever made Kylie Jenner feel like she had to go out and buy those lips, that she had to contour her entire face and change her entire body? She was already a beautiful little girl. So the society is ill. It's not normal, right? Don't let these people convince you that that's normal. That's cancer, and that cancer will become contagious to you. If you accept that, you don't follow better role models.
So I have come to the conclusion that social media has absolutely ruined how I communicate with humans in real life. You know how we've been having this back and forth about how women don't want to be approached and how men, they're scared to approach women and how we're just out here just looking stupid because nobody wants to talk to anybody. Yeah, that's only on social media. I already told y'all one time, there's been multiple times, but there's times where men will still speak to me in public. And I'm like, well, what is the internet talking about? Because the internet said that y'all don't talk to us. Well, let me tell you something. Today, there's this man that I frequently see, and we always, hi, how are you? But I always keep it pushing. Today he introduced himself, and I said, well, it's about time. And he said, I read body language, and it just always seems like you don't want to be bothered. And I'm like, but I do. I want to be bothered. Bother me, please. And we started talking and conversing or whatever. And then it got like a little quiet or whatever because I'm nervous. Like, I don't know how to do this. I'm nervous. I'm just, okay. So I'm like, okay, so what's next? What do we do? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, do I give you my Instagram? Do I give you my number? And he laughed. And I'm like, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how this works. I said, because according to the internet, men and women don't talk to each other anymore. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, according to social media, y'all are afraid to talk to us. And we don't want y'all talking to us. And it's this whole thing. And he was like, yeah, I don't be online like that. So I don't know. So again, this is not a real place. Everybody that's on here bitching and complaining about men and women. And guess what? There's people that live in the real world that don't even scroll and watch that shit. Their algorithm isn't showing them that. So again, I don't want y'all to lose hope. There are women that do like to be approached, and there are men that still like to approach women, but not in a weird way, in a respectful way. He even apologized for cussing. So yeah, we exchanged Instagrams, and then I got home and I was like, damn, I should have gave him my number. Why did I give him my Instagram?
Never had a video blow up before until last night. And while that's amazing, let me tell you, I can see how this social media shit is so terrible for you. I was not able to put the phone down, looking at comments, likes, responding to comments, followers, and it's pretty eye-opening. But at the same time, I'm really glad that video started a dialogue. I feel like it's something that's needed to be acknowledged for a long time. And I love that people are getting to argue in my comments. A lot of angry incels in there. But if you're new here, I love fitness, love lifting weights, running, eating clean, walking, getting the steps in, and I'm just trying to provide value to my fellow humans. Stay the course.
No one's saying it, so I will. Social media has turned dating into a battlefield. Y'all, waiting 3 hours to respond or acting uninterested doesn't make you mysterious. It creates insecurity. We are fed this idea that we're on opposite sides that have to outplay each other just to protect ourselves, when in reality, we are just humans looking for a connection. And the saddest part is that my single female friends feel like they have to be hyper-masculine in order to not be taken advantage of in the dating market. While my single male friends feel lonely and misunderstood because if they do one thing wrong on a date, suddenly they're a narcissist. And here's my opinion on this. Why are we taking dating advice from people who barely have healthy relationships themselves? Social media has somehow packaged these toxic behaviors as normal or even attractive. But I was a psych major and I love the intricacies of interpersonal psychology. Emotional detachment often leads to more anxiety, lower self-esteem, and attachment issues over time. And honestly, once you stop antagonizing and stereotyping an entire 4 billion people in the world based on what social media tells you, only then can you find something real. Because at the end of the day, we're not that different. We're just humans looking for other humans to love and accept us as we are.
I don't know who need to hear this, but don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. Y'all see all these girls dating professional athletes and going on their vacations and the influencers and their unboxings. Oh, I wanted da-da-da, soft life, you're this, you're that, give me your game card. Don't believe the hype, okay? Y'all are getting caught up in the social media stuff and it's not real life. It is not real life. It is not real life. As somebody who is in this world, you see girls doing luxury unboxes cheap as hell in real life. Okay? Don't believe the hype, and I hate it for y'all because y'all be wishing for their life and don't even know what kind of life that they live in offline.
So I have a theory about why social media has ruined humanity, and the theory is normal people don't post. And what I mean by that is not that people who post on social media are weird. I mean that they're not your normal everyday person. So either they are talented, they're an academic, they have something they want to say. And the problem though is that people who watch social media, engage with social media, think that they're watching a normal cross-section of humanity. And so two things happen. The first is that they feel really inadequate because people who have immense talent and want to, earn attention for their talents are going to post on social media, and it will make you feel, I don't have that kind of talent, I'm worthless, which is not true. And the second problem is people who used to just post letters to the editor and crappy self-made newsletters are now able to post their weird conspiracy theory opinions on every single platform possible. And because we forget that this is a self-selecting group of people posting on here, we think that, having these opinions is normal, and they're not. So I think it's just really important to remember when you're on this app that whatever you see here, the people who post here posting is not normal. There's a whole bunch of people who just never post on here, have perfectly normal opinions, but we don't hear from them anymore. So we have such a skewed view of how the world works because of that.
There's work in social work, and this might be completely obvious to other young families, but this is the number one factor that I've seen across all of the families that I work with. Granted, most of the families that I work with are low income, on public assistance, need a lot of help in child rearing and understanding where their children's behaviors are coming from. But the number one thing, if I had to put it down to just one factor, it's YouTube. All of these kids are obsessed with YouTube and obsessed with watching like Roblox videos, any kind of videos of like other kids playing. It's actually rotting their brains. Block YouTube if you have young kids. Do not let them watch that. It's so horrendous.
I quit social media 4 years ago and it completely changed my life. For background, I deleted everything, Instagram, Twitter, everything back in the beginning of 2021. It is now 2025 and I just started TikTok like a month ago, and this is my only social media I have now. Those 4 years offline taught me everything I didn't know I needed. The first thing that I noticed is that I just became my most authentic self. You're just a much more interesting person because you're not consuming what other people are wearing, what they're thinking, what they're saying. And you just have space for your own thoughts. You have space for learning new hobbies, reading new books, reading articles. So you just become much more interesting because you're present in your actual self. You're not in such a huge influencing bubble. You're influenced by the world and the people around you in your reality, in your day-to-day life. But you're not influenced by like consumer trends, by social media trends. It's just really refreshing because you know like the person that you're becoming is who you're meant to be. And then eventually when you're there, you just like can settle into yourself. It's a really amazing experience. Number 2 is that you suddenly have so much time. You didn't even know how much time and how many things you can accomplish in a single day. It's just so productive and it's so freeing. Life just stops disappearing into a scroll. My days would feel longer. I would feel more fulfilled. I would fill it with so much stuff, learning, reflecting, moving. I was actually doing things and I was building a life instead of just watching one go by and like looking up from my phone and seeing that 4 hours had passed. And I think that also in turn is what makes you a much more interesting person, is suddenly you have all this time to do so many other things and to read and to fill your mind with other thoughts. So those two kind of go hand in hand. Number 3, this is one of the best things that happened when I deleted social media, was that I just stopped comparing myself. I just think it's a natural tendency for humans to compare. You're always going to compare value A to value B. That's just a natural human tendency. You don't need to try and shut it down completely, but it's not normal for us to have a window into everyone's lives at all times. I think that has broken our brains a little bit. When I was offline, I only knew what was happening to me and the people around me, and I think that that's the way it's always been, and it felt right. It felt natural. I was really able to break that toxic mentality of just always feeling behind and comparing myself to everyone. And now that I have TikTok, it's kind of come back, but when I was completely offline, I didn't really feel that. Number 4, it was also something life-changing that I noticed, was that I had to learn to sit with my emotions. You can't inoculate yourself with dopamine hits and avoid the painful emotions anymore with social media. You have to learn to sit in the discomfort. You have to learn to face yourself and learn to sit with your difficult emotions. I wasn't able to escape my feelings anymore, and that really changed everything. It made me stronger. It made me more emotionally resilient, and I was able to gain peace in my own head. Like, my brain just felt like green. It was a forest of peace. It was amazing. Number 5 is your relationships get better. When you're grounded in reality, you just show up differently, and people can feel that. You're more present, you listen better, you're just so in the present that you really see people when you're with them, and they can feel that. And you feel that with yourself. You feel so present with yourself, and you cherish them more because you just cherish your day-to-day life. You cherish the people in your life because this is your reality. This is what you have. And you know what's crazy is, like, I remember how impossible at the time it felt to delete Instagram. Like, what if I didn't know about other people's lives and things like that? And once you do it, you're like, who are they to you? Only people who matter are in your day-to-day life. It's crazy to see once you delete it how disillusioned you can be, that, oh, this really is nothing. It means nothing. And at the time, it felt really important. It was a big part of my life. I was on my phone a lot. And now it's just not a part of my reality at all. Honestly, the biggest thing about deleting my social media was knowing that I can live without it. At the time, I felt like I couldn't live without it, and now I know that I can, and I'm better for it. Honestly, now that I'm on TikTok for the past month and a half, I can see the way it's kind of getting me back in that loop, and that's not my fault. It's engineered to be that way. It's very calculated, but even though it might not be our fault what our digital environment is and how we evolve with it, it is our responsibility to learn how to navigate it ourselves and for our day-to-day lives. If quitting is something that you're considering, I highly recommend it. Even if it's just for a little bit, you're just going to see yourself change only in positive ways. Social media can be positive in a lot of ways, but it can be very, very negative in a lot of ways. And even when you take that step back, when you take a little break or a long break like I did, you're able to discern more how you can use it effectively in your life. I promise, it'll only be positive. Like, you will only change for the better. And I feel like deleting it when I was young like that has kind of changed my trajectory for the rest of my life and how I'm going to use social media. It's just so peaceful out here. So peaceful in here.